Charles Finney. I want to go into a debate. Will there be a debate on John chapter 6 on the text?
This is the man from Oberlin, the Charles Finney Videocast. You may recall, if you had seen my first videocast, that we had experienced technical difficulties, and my technician put up on the screen that our offices were attacked by Calvin's witnesses. In fact, they threw a couple dozen eggs at our location, and they ran away when I opened the door to confront them. We have identified one of them from video surveillance.
Hey! Get out of my house! Go! Get out of my house!
Sorry, I didn't know it's house. I didn't know. Whoa! The camera, I didn't know.
And notice that he bears a striking resemblance to the man in a video that appeared shortly after online. James White is a professional debater who strives for masteries as a career. He's the founder of Alpha and Omega 3 website, and he has a channel called The Dividing Liar. Dr. James White posted the following video, which I will play in its entirety, and I will briefly respond to it in this present videocast. I will correct its errors, including the one where he claimed to have continually tried to reach me for a debate, and he insinuated that I was a coward.
I've heard that Charles Finney is back in town, and I called him to see if he would debate me. So when he had found out that I wanted to debate the drawing of people to the sun by the Father in John chapter 6, he would not answer my calls or my emails.
In fact, I was the one who originally contacted him and asked him for a private discussion on John chapter 6, as Warren McGrew, better known as Idol Killer, had sent me a link to James White's debate with Dr. Leighton Flowers on John chapter 6. I was informed that this White is a Calvin's witness, and it's apparent that he has a lot of followers who are reminiscent of a circus act of a group of trained seals. However, James White turned down my request for a private chat. He said that I was not famous enough to give me either his time or his attention. Let the facts stand that he has been doxing me and watching our offices. He says he wants a public debate on John chapter 6. So I challenge him to follow through with his claim. If he does not, I will send a video of him trespassing and vandalizing our offices to the police.
I went to his office and he ran. I left some gifts to show that God is God.
In fact, they threw a couple dozen eggs at our location, and they ran away when I opened the door to confront them.
But I think we have seen very clearly that what I've said was the truth. I can give his presentation as well as he could have given it anyway.
White claims that he could give my presentation as well as I could give it, but he wrongly assumes that I'm going to repeat common Arminian views on the text. If you're expecting a Dr. Leighton Flowers Part 2, you don't know me very well.
Charles Finney, I want to go into a debate. Will there be a debate on John chapter 6 on the text? Could happen. Might happen. I don't know. And so I think that's what you're afraid. You've admitted it to me. You know that. Charles Finney, you should not be in ministry. You are not qualified to be involved in ministry in any way, shape, or form. And you are bringing destruction to yourself and the people around you. And I tried to help you. I'm obviously the person to help you now. And those of you who are still palling around with him, you haven't helped. By the way, so you helped with it. Now you see the mess it's created. I don't say that to hurt him. I say that to protect the church. And I have taught for many, many years that the only consistent Arminian is an open theist. This theology is identical to Mormonism.
In the past, I was normally reticent to answer my accusers and opponents who often send letters to authorities and to the media to destroy my influence. However, I have had opportunity to observe his basic argument, which he never swerves from, and I believe that the errors are evident. Well, Dr. White, I am very welcoming of your challenge, and I believe I will make it evident that your arguments on John chapter 6 will be known to your army of trained SEALs rather quickly. So I say, bring it on. I asked you to join me for a private discussion on John chapter 6, and you refused. I can only assume you are being the real coward while you employ the tactic of accusing your opponent of doing what you are doing and claiming you are the victim. However, I will grant you this fact, James, that the only consistent Arminian is an open theist. I am an open theist now. I've modified my views precisely because Christian consistency implies the necessity of changing one's views with increasing light. Increasing light demands a change. Tragically, your Westminster Confession of Faith is no more than a paper pope, a pope committed to paper. The Catholics have this advantage over Calvin's witnesses in that they have a living pope. And there is at least hope for the living that they can change their mind or modify their views. On the other hand, you have doubled down on your theological determinism, whatever you wish to call it. Your Reformed Catholicism is indistinguishable from fatalism. This is clear to anyone who is familiar with the subject. You may very well vilify all your opponent's views as Mormonism, given that your own views are identical with the Talmudic Jewish mystics who follow the Zohar.
On one of the fins, Greek letters. Alpha and Omega. Doomsday bomb.